Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the last leg, the end of the FedEx Cup playoffs. That's right, this is the Tour Championship, and this is my pick show. I'm going to talk about and go through all 30 players, and Patrick Reed has been added, so everything I'm hearing, he is going to play. Don't have any really analysis on him, but I'll talk briefly about Patrick. Of course, we're going to go through all the analysis that I typically do. And we're going to go through each player so that way there you can make your own picks. But of course, at the end, I will summarize my picks. And with that said, let's get into this. Okay, so today is my last day for the giveaway. This, of course, is the FedEx Playoffs giveaway I've been running, for the past like 4 weeks. And what is this? If you are new and have not seen this, I'll make it very quick. I am going to be randomly selecting one of my subscribers to win $1,000. And if somehow, which I'm off by over 100 right now, so we're going to make up a lot of ground. But if I do get to 1,000 subscribers before I make the picks tomorrow, or actually run the generator, probably going to be tonight, I will actually pull 2 winners. But right now it looks like it's going to be 1 winner for this. But hey, I appreciate it. I've got a lot of subscribers over the last month or so. So thank you all and welcome to the community if you're new. And again, all you need to do to get into this giveaway, and if you've already subscribed and you've already given me your pick to win this whole thing, to win the Tour Championship, no need, you're in, I'll get you, I promise. But if you haven't and you are watching this, please subscribe, click that like button if you would, and just tell me who do you think is going to win the whole shebang, the FedEx Cup playoffs, and you're in the contest. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about real quick. Again, I am going to hype this because I think it's a really good way to make some money without having to go through the competition of what DFS provides. And this is real simple. This is an over-under game, and it's PrizePicks.com. And you can mix and match if you want to plug in some NFL players or baseball. Feel free, but of course, I'm going to be giving you my picks tomorrow. And I've hit back-to-back weekends for a 10x multiplier of what I put in. And real simply, all you need to do if you want to get involved is go to prizepicks.com, log in, and just enter my promo code GolfGuru. And whatever you put in up to $100, they'll match you 100%. So if you put 100 in, you're going to get a free 100. If you put 50 in, they're going to give you 50. And then just plug in the guys that I pick or pick your own. But like I said, I've hit back-to-back. I'm going to be giving my picks again tomorrow after I do some more analysis. But last weekend, of course, as I mentioned, I gave out a winner that was on Thursday that hit, and that was Jordan Spieth. And again, this is for like a single round, like a showdown round. I picked Jordan Spieth to go over, and he did. Shot a couple strokes over what they had him projected. Sam Burns lit it up. They had him projected as 70. I went under. Same with Rahm, went under, and then English went under. And he was the one I sweated out a little bit, but he pulled it out, and I'll do it again. For you guys tomorrow on my Before the Lock show. So again, check out Prize Picks. Put in Golf Guru. They'll match you 100% up to $100. And give it a spin, man. I mean, it's been very fruitful from my side. So I think it could be for you too. And again, if you jump on my bandwagon right now, we're at 100% wins. So, all right, here we go. So if you didn't catch the preview show yesterday, I always go over what I think the players need to do to win at this course at East Lake. And so my stroke gain analysis, the things that I was really focused on, just so you know as we go through the analysis today. Again, they've got to hit fairways here. Distance is always great. There is rain right today. They're getting quite a bit of rain all day today. So that's going to soften up the course, which is going to reduce the length, but also give you an advantage that you're not going to have run out the fairways. And I don't think this rough is crazy penal. But what has been stated from past is that if you're in the rough, you have about a 50% chance of hitting the green. So that's pretty significant to have some kind of scoring opportunity. So I'm also looking at fairways gained. Ball striking is going to show up here. You got some long approach shots. Putting, huge greens, very slopey, very fast Bermuda greens. Also got 3-putt avoidance. Approach always is something that we have to look at because that's the guys that are going to score that can get it in that 20-foot or better range. If you're not hitting these greens, which is going to happen, you're going to have to be able to scramble. And that means around the greens, and even if you're off on your approach shots. The prox to the pin, I don't have an exact number of how many shots are coming in. from past history, but everything that I could do from an analysis side looks like 175 to 200 will be the key coming in on a lot of these long par fours. And then, of course, you've got, as I mentioned, 5 par fours that I'm looking at that are 450 to 500. You got the par threes that are over 200. There's 4 of them. Again, it's depending on how 15 where they put the tee markers. But right now in the official scorecard, they've got that at about 200 yards. There's only 2 par fives, and number 6 is the big hole that you really, that's your eagle chance. If you don't make birdie there, you're definitely going to be struggling. And then, of course, we need guys still to score. I mean, last year, as I mentioned, Schauffele shot 15 under. I'm expecting it to stay the same. Now, if they get, very attackable greens because it's wet, we could see upwards in 18, 19 under. But right now, I'm kind of in my brain tuning for about a 15 under score. And then I changed the comp courses a little bit, or comp tournaments. A lot of this data that I'm going to be using when we go through the talk of these guys is going to be pulling the Northern Trust, the BMW, and the St. Jude, which I think is great. This is all recent form. And the FedEx St. Jude at TPC Southland, I think, is a pretty good comp course. It is a par 70, if I remember correctly, around the same yardage. It is Bermuda. Zoysia fairways, so it's a great comparable in my mind. Also, we'll hit the Honda, but I don't think that many guys that's in this field play the Honda. Where we know everybody, I think, pretty much played the WGC FedEx St. Jude except for Rahm. He was still coming off the COVID. And then also plug these in, but really, I removed the Genesis, the Memorial. That's, it's further back, and we know what these guys are doing right now, and I'm just going to focus on the last 3 tournaments, pretty much. Okay, with that said, let's go do the analysis, and what I'm going to do is summarize my top 10 picks, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm jumping over to Fantasy National, and again, if you've been with me, you know that I leverage this heavily from my research, and also to show you guys some good information. But it's a great tool. Highly recommend it if you're ever looking to do your own research. And again, as I mentioned, I'm going to be looking at the last 12 rounds. I have no filters on, because if I put filters on, it's going to start pulling up older data. And as we know, things are changing rapidly. Patrick Cantlay is not in Fantasy National right now, so he's not going to be on here. But his cost is $5,700. And right now, I just, as you probably did, received from DraftKings that he is in the field. From PGA Tour Communications, I have not seen an official announcement that he's playing, but keep an eye on that, and I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But right now, DraftKings has added him, so they must know something that he is going to give it a go. Of course, he's coming off an ankle injury. I'm sure you heard he was in a hospital, but out for at least probably 5-6 days now. He had double pneumonia, which is crazy, and he wasn't playing all that great since pretty much the win at Torrey Pines, the Farmers. His, around the green and putting is not where it's been. So, I probably wouldn't have played him either way. So, I'm just letting you guys know right off the bat, he is not going to be on my radar. And I'm not going to really go through analysis on him because we haven't seen him in so long. We don't know what he's going to look like. There's definitely going to be a rust. And again, I don't think his game was that great. If he would have been, unless he would have done something great at GC and, the last 3 tournaments, then I would have changed my mind. But so we're going to focus on the 29 guys that I do have in front of me. I have picked 10 guys, as I mentioned, that are going to be my favorites. I am going to talk through all of these guys so you can also make your own decisions. And also pulled up, we're going to look at some putting stats from past at Eastlake. I think that's going to be a crucial thing. Of course, it's hard to predict who's going to have a great putter, but we can see in the past who's done well putting. And kind of my narrative where I'm leaning is guys that are doing well off the tee and putting. Of course, all these guys I think are pretty decent with the irons, or they wouldn't be here. But I think those are going to be the 2 key areas that are going to kind of change this. And also the par 3s I think are going to be very crucial. Okay, enough said with that. Let's talk about Patrick Cantlay. So, of course, we all saw Patrick just went in fuego at the BMW with a putter that broke all stroke gain stats. I don't believe that's sustainable. And we'll go jump on Patrick. But you can see, again, just to give you an understanding, I did create a smaller model. I'm looking at off the tee, putting, kind of my top guys. Approaches in there. I think this par 3s, just like what we saw at Caves Valley for the BMW, that was kind of the course defense. I feel that there's a little more course defense here, but again, these par threes will probably be what kind of shifts it, I think. I'm also fairways gain is plugged in the bottom. Again, they've got to hit the fairways. They have scoring opportunities. I also looked at the weather, and again, we're still a bit early, but the weather for the rest of the weekend, so I'm talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, looks great. Tee times are out. It looks like they're starting around 11:40. I think Billy Horschel and I believe it was Morikawa now, off the top of my head, I can't remember, are some of the first guys out. But you can check that out. But I don't see anything from a wind perspective or rain. It looks like it's going to be very scoreable if the weather stays away. Right now, I think Atlanta, from my understanding, is getting that hurricane that came up through Louisiana. They're getting the remnants of that. So hence they're getting quite a bit of rain today. But it looks good the rest of the week, but that should soften the course up. Okay, enough on that. Let's get back on Patrick. So I'm going to click on him. We can just kind of look through some of his information so you have it and make your own decision. You can see Bermuda over his life of his career. It's actually his worst putting surface. Just hair negative, but bent is his best. Of course, that's what they just played on. I talked about the new putter he put in play. I'm sure you heard it on the press conference. If not, and again, you can see just, gaining almost, 15 strokes of the putter. It's never been done before since they've been tracking stroke gain putting analysis. So you got to really look at what else is going on here. And he's green everywhere. I mean, the guy is a solid player usually. I have no issues. But if we just go back to the WGC St. Jude, where, again, he lost almost 3.5 strokes. Now, he implemented and put that putter in, from my understanding, on Saturday at the Northern Trust. So he actually gained strokes there. And if you're confident with a putter, that's a huge thing. I get that. But I don't think he can gain that much. So for the price, again, I understand. And also I am going to be weighing in, the guys where they're stroking that is. So, where they're coming in with the minus strokes or the staggered start. So I'll also have that in front of me. I'll talk about that as we go through it. I think, like I said, I mean, there's really nothing else to say on Patrick. It's a decision you got to make of, is he going to run, if he can get stroke gain somewhere around 5 strokes with that and keep steady with everything else, he definitely could win this thing. I'm going to go with that. He just won that tournament. I've just seen too many times where the swing where you have that much gain with a putter to follow that up or even be close typically does not happen. You start to miss a few, you start to get a little frustrated, and away you go. If we look at his past results at Eastlake, nothing great. And that's another little thing that kind of tipped me. All in the 20s, and they're out of 30 guys. So you're in the bottom, third. And like I said, I don't remember where he started in all these, but still, nothing there screams. And you could also see his birdies gained over the last 12 rounds until the BMW. He really wasn't doing a whole lot. So with all that said, his putting right now, he's ranked number 1 because of what he just did, but that got so skewed, so it's hard to look at that. Everything else is kind of mid to bottom. Off the tee, pretty solid, but yeah. Anyway, so that's Patrick. So how I've done this too for you guys, because this is all about from a DFS DraftKings perspective. I want to reiterate that I'm not going to pick like the top 10 guys. What I'm trying to do is pick the guys, go through each of the pricing areas. So like you got the top, I don't know, 4 or 5 guys. And out of that, I'm going to lean with Rahm. You can also see that's where the projected ownership is going to be. But everything tells me that Rahm, even though he's starting at 6 strokes under, so he's 4 strokes behind Cantlay to start, but he's only, $400 difference. Still, everything points that he should be the guy that should win this thing. I mean, you can see with Vegas odds, everything is saying that, but that could go sideways. But if I got to pick between Cantlay, Rahm, DeChambeau, and we'll even throw Finau in there at 11.8, for that pricing, I'm going to go ahead. My guy out of the 4 is going to be Jon Rahm. And I'm not going to really go into a whole lot. I mean, I can click on Rahm for you. Let's go do that. So you can see Bermuda's not his best surface, but he gains on all. But he's been just putting. You can see he gained quite a bit also at the BMW. But he's gained with the putter since, the Byron Nelson back in May. And that's when he kind of made his switch. You can see, he lost at the Wells Fargo. He lost, back. This was kind of the big area that was a kind of where you really saw him struggle. So he maybe made the switch around the players, but I feel like the Byron Nelson's when I really noticed the change. But everything's been firing on all cylinders for Ram, and that's the guy that if I'm leading off my DraftKings builds, and I got to pick between that. Now, will I create some different builds? Of course, but my main bulk would be starting with John Rahm out of this group. We go to Bryson, right? It's been hitting a driver over the last 3 rounds. He's leading off the tee. Even when he gets a little wayward, this rough is not going to bother him at all. The putter, as we all know, has been good, but it started to fall a little bit apart right when he needed it at the BMW. Of course, in the playoffs in the last few holes. His approach, I think he's hit or miss. But of course, he's hitting shorter irons in. So I always, from my own personal golf experience, give me a scoring club in hand. I'm gonna feel a lot better than when I'm hitting a 5 iron in. But you can also see probably out of all these guys, he's gaining the most birdies. So that's something to think about. Again, remember, I think we get so caught up in the staggered stroke and where these guys are going to finish and forget about, hey, it's also all about who's the guy out there making the birdies and the eagles versus, a bogey you can deal with. So we're going to have to kind of keep that in mind when you're building your teams. You can go click on Bryson just so you can see some further information. Sorry, it is taking a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you can see Bermuda is actually his best surface from a putting split. If we go look at the last few tournaments, and like I said, really this is all we need to look at. I'm not going to go ping all that other stuff. He gained quite a bit of strokes too. I mean, those guys, those were not difficult greens as you saw by any stretch. There will not be 10 strokes gained. I'd be very shocked if anybody gains 10 strokes at East Lake. You can see he lost a little bit at the Northern Trust with the putter, but again, on Bermuda, he gained at TPC Southwind. Trying to see, we just go, we can also just click and it should show. So it's kind of interesting. His second best putting performance ever was just recently here at the BMW. So that can make you a little nervous. Also, his best putting performance was at TPC Southwind, where he gained 10 strokes, and that's on Bermuda. The Rocket Mortgage, when he won there, it was bent. The John Deere, I believe that is bent. Let me pull it up. Yeah, the John Deere TPC Deere Run is bent. Let me go back. TOC, I think is that past Palm? No, Bermuda. Okay. So again, I'm just doing that for your guys' own, just to see where he's had some of his better putting showing. So that is Bermuda at the Tournament of Champions. Wells Fargo at Quail, that's Bermuda. And the Northern Trust, just pull that one up. That was POA. Okay. So enough about, you got a little more information maybe than you knew on Bryson. You have to make a call. Again, I'm still going to leave towards Rahm. Tony Finau is interesting. He's had some pretty good showings here, as you can see at East Lake. It's all going to come down to the putter with Tony. Of course, right now, over the last, 3 tournaments, he's been putting pretty well. Had a really good Sunday at the BMW. I believe he was, if you had him from a showdown perspective, I think he was 8 or 9 under. Maybe had the best round out of everyone. But you can see Bermuda over the life of his career is his worst putting surface. Yeah, you can see he's gained 6 strokes, 4 strokes, 5 strokes. So that's pretty rare for Tony, as we all know. Not that he typically loses 6 or 4, but just curious because I think both of those were, and I don't know of anything that Tony has done from changing putter or why this current, out of the past 4 rounds putting, he's gained almost, you could just average it out around 5 strokes on the field. That's pretty rare. See, he's lost a little bit on approach previous 2 rounds. Off the tee, he lost a little bit at Caves Valley, but then gained at the Northern Trust, of course, where he won. But again, for that price tag, I'm kind of leaning to go with guys that have been proven with the putter, and I'm probably going to pass on Tony. JT, he's had a great history here, as you can see. If it was a pure course history play, he's great. You can see ownership. Is at 30%. I almost like him better for a bet than a DFS play. That's my own personal opinion, of course. The putter's just been so broke. Let's go. We'll go click on G, and I'll click on all these guys for you just so you can see. You can see Poa's where he's done his damage. Bermuda barely, slightly over his career. I mean, he's had a pretty long career compared to some of these guys. But he is positive on Bermuda over the life of his career. But you can just see over his last 20 rounds, on average, he's losing strokes with the putter. It's just how much is he going to lose? Now, at the Northern Trust, he got us a little excited, right? Gained 4.5 strokes with he was back. And he's got it on and off. I mean, if you want to just go on that kind of goofy theory. So he lost crazy at the Memorial, gained at the U.S. Open. We don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know what he did at the Open. But lost 5 on Bermuda at TPC Southwind. He gained at Caves Valley. Like, I feel like almost everybody gained strokes with the putter. And that's not true, but it just feels that way. And then I'm sorry, that I was incorrect. He gained at the Northern Trust. He lost strokes. So that was Liberty National, and lost strokes at Caves Valley. So anyways, for me, again, my lean is going to be also he has gotten oftentimes he can get wayward with the tee shot. So I'm going to pivot off of JT is not where I'm going, but course history says to definitely to give him a look. Same with DJ, right? I mean, of course, he won here last year. He had a 3rd back in 2018, a 6th in 2016. I don't know. I just keep going back to he won the FedEx. He won so much money last year, and then won the Masters, which, if you don't know, that was his dream as a child. I mean, that was every time he was playing, it was to win the Masters. And when he won that, even though it was a little different, in the fall, no fans, but to him, that was like the holy grail that he finally accomplished. And it seems like since then, everything else has been whatever. It's just been a letdown. I don't care if it's been a major, whatever it's been. I just don't feel like, and not like he was a super intense guy anyways, but that he's just had that focus and desire. You can also see fairways gained. He is at the bottom off the tee. 21st. Now, typically when he's got that butter fade that he hits, he can be very accurate. But over the last 3 tournaments, which of course again is TPC Southwind, Northern Trust, and BMW, it's just not been there as great with the irons. I'm sorry, with the driver. You can also see not a whole lot going on with the birdies. I mean, he had a little bit of spike here just recently at the BMW. But I'll click on DJ, but that's I'm not going there. Also, his putter is very hit or miss. Now, they actually had on the Golf Channel last night, they had the 2020. They did like all 4 rounds like in an hour, and that guy was just draining putts left and right. But again, that was a year ago. But you can see Bermuda's his worst surface, but he positive on all, but his worst surface for the life of his career. You can see, the putter has come back. I mean, that's something I wouldn't have thought of. I knew he gained at the BMW, but you can see everything else. Tee to green was not good at the Northern Trust, but gained with the putter. At TPC Southwind, gained everywhere across the board. The 3M, nothing really good except approach. Funny enough, his putter hasn't been as bad in my mind as as I thought. So maybe it's this when he lost 10 strokes at concession at the WGC Mexico. That's still in my brain. I don't know, but it's just hasn't been exemplary. But he's got a good history here. You could not fault you if you were going to play him. And again, you could see that right there. Okay, moving on. Jordan Spieth. Again, a little bit. I don't know. I feel like right now Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth are kind of similar to me. And it's just, could they have that spike putting? If they have the putter just going, either one of those guys could end up winning this thing. I feel like Jordan's fallen a little more off, and we'll go click on him. And of course, he hasn't been at East Lake since 2017. He won here back in 2015. He had a T2 in 2000. So, he's proven he had a T7 in 2017 when he was last here. You can see this here. The birdies have kind of fallen over the last month. Everything approaches kind of went away. Fairways gain is not even listed because it's been comparative to the field, not very good. Same with off the tee. He's actually last in all those categories out of these 30 guys. Well, 29 guys, I should say. Patrick Reed, again, is not on here. But you can see Bermuda, he gains in all over the life. Bermuda's his second best next to Bent. The putters just hasn't. That was kind of when he was really flashing, like, even at the WGC. But again, that is Bermuda, gained 5 strokes there. The Schwab, let me check. I believe that is Bent. Yeah, Colonial. What else was I going to look at here? Valero, that should be Bermuda. Gained 6 strokes. Yeah, TPC San Antonio. Of course, it was a while ago. His last really good putting out was at WGC, but you can see lost off the tee on approach, lost off the tee significantly at the Northern Trust, lost on approach, lost off the tee at the BMW, strokes gained against the field, and barely gained on approach. So, again, I'm picking only 10 guys out of these. Of course, literally when you're doing DFS, you can, depending on how many teams. Now, if you're creating 10 teams, this is the guys I go with. Of course, if you're creating a ton, you're just going to, kind of change up probably a few. You're going to have your core, but you're probably going to be sprinkling quite a few in. All right. So the next guy I'm actually going to land on is Cam Smith. Again, you can see still just making a ton of birdies. His tournament history here is nothing to write home about. But he's had, that the second at Northern Trust, he had that tied for 5th at WGC. And if I remember right, he had a chance to get in the playoff, and I think it was the last hole. He hit kind of wide right and took a very risky shot that hit the tree. I think he went out of bounds, and that's what got him. Technically, I look at this as he was on the 18th trying to get in the playoff and did some things, but it is a driver, as we know. And then of course, lost in the playoff to Tony, right off the bat. Hit it OB, and that was pretty much ball game. But I'm a Cam Smith guy. I'll state that right off the bat. I want guys that can get crazy hot with the putter, crazy short game. The driver does make me a little nervous. So, you could point that. Also, you could see over the last, 3 tournaments, the par 3s, he hasn't been, killing it. We go click on Cam and let's just go check. Bermuda, out of all the surfaces over his career, he's positive and all, but that one is a little less than the others. You can see the putter just kind of left him at the BMW and off the tee, but he's been pretty decent for Cam off the tee. He's had these real spike approaches where like from 110, 120 yards in, he was looked like Justin Thomas for a bit there. I was watching. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, but that's the guy that I'm leaning with. It fits my mental thought of the guy that I want. I really want good putters here. Off the tee, so for me, it would almost be working the green back. But off the tee it is important. Next guy that I'm going with, and you can see I picked, in the 10,000 range. That's kind of how I did it for you guys. The 10,000 range, I'm going with Cam. And then again, out of the top, 3 or 4, I'm going to go with Rahm. And then we get into the 9,000 range. The guy that I'm pretty psyched about for this, and again, everything kind of tells me that this should fit him well. He hasn't at East Lake done amazing, but I think he's playing a really good golf. He just had his first win. It was at TPC Southwind. Again, I think a very similar track on Bermuda. You see his birdies have been on the way up. He's number 1 on these par 3s. He's hitting, he hits fairways. He's a good putter. He's not gaining. So this is what's kind of interesting about off the tee. He doesn't hit it as far as a lot of these guys, but he hits a lot of fairways. And, I'll take 290 over 310 in the rough is, I guess, the way I'm looking at it. And to go click on Abraham, so you can just go see some recent stuff. You can see Bent's his best putting surface, but, nothing crazy, on all of them, but he's positive on all. You see steady with the putter around the green, maybe, is his one weak area. The BMW, he didn't really gain anything off tee, but didn't lose. But everywhere else, you can see over his last, I don't know, since like RBC, gaining, gaining, gaining. He lost at the U.S. Open, gain, barely. Pretty solid on approach, and then the putter. That's what it's all going to come down to. You can see, gain 3.5 strokes with the putter when he won at WGC St. Jude. Didn't have a good showing at the Northern, but kind of came back at Cays Valley. So yeah, it's the guy that I'm thinking of. Rory. I think again for me, from a betting perspective, I like it. From a DFS perspective, you can see this. Everybody 36% projected ownership. That's a little bit of it. But Rory's had, of course, loves this place. Has a great history here. The off the tee has really been shiny. He's hitting fairways. He's got his length. The putter has also, come back a little bit. We'll go click on Rory. So Bermuda's been his second best putting survey. You see nothing crazy with all of them, but he is positive stroke gain with it. You can see he's had this kind of spike putting where he was kind of, losing. I lost 6 on Bermuda at the Players. The PGA also, that was at Kiowa. That was Bermuda. He lost 3 strokes there. U.S. Open. Why am I blanking on that one? Just a second here. Oh, it's at Torrey. That's POA. I think it's a mix, if I remember right. I feel like it's like a POA bent. Just kind of looking through where he's done. And then, of course, lost again 3.5 strokes on Bermuda. So I'm not going to make a whole ton out of that. But, he has been off the tee, been doing better. Approaches, you can see he lost almost 4 strokes there, lost a little BMW. But, all these guys are really good, right? And they're all in pretty good form. There's some different than others, of course, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. I'd say Jordan Spieth is, and I've said this has been kind of trailing down. I feel like DJ's been on a little bit of an upswing. I think even JT has been. It's just, what would that putter do? Xander, since the Olympics, I think I put a bet on him. The guy's just had ridiculous course history here, but once I started to go and really get an understanding of what his game's been doing from an analysis standpoint, you can see he's 26, almost the bottom. I was kind of thinking going into this, he was going to be one of my picks. Bermuda's his worst putting surface, but he, good putter. So he's positive on it all. You can just see a lot of red over the last 3 tournaments. And, I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if it's, his more form. We got a good understanding why Colin's struggling, but I don't know why Schauffele's struggling. And can it be something that he just flicks the switch? And it could be. But I've got to kind of go with everything I'm seeing. And I will always lean over recent form over, horses for courses, your past history. You can be the greatest player ever, but if you're having back issues or you literally can't make a 3-foot putt for the last, 2 months, like, I can't play you. So long story short, I'm out on Xander. If I had to, put a gun in my head, I'd rather go to Harris. 10% less ownership. The guy is a Georgia Bulldog. He's from the area. I think he even still lives here now. I don't remember exactly, but and that's not a huge thing. The whole local thing, I'm not, putting a ton of stock into that. But he won at the Travelers, of course, a really good showing at the WGC. Trying to see, that was, I guess these tournaments are all running together now, but if I remember correctly, is that when I think Bryson and him just imploded? I feel like that was the tournament, but like I said, literally just kind of been so much golf on the brain. I think I've melted out. Anyways, let's go click on Harris and look a little bit why I'm a little interested in Harris. See Bermuda, the guy's a good putter on all surfaces, but Bermuda, one of the better Bermuda putters out of this field. He's been gaining with the putter, so, the last 6 rounds, he's gained every time. Now, it's been different levels, but, if you average that out, he's gaining about somewhere around 3.5 to 4 strokes every time. Um, Everything again from a putting and driver, he's just slow and steady. I like Harris. You know what I want to look at? Let's check something real quick. Just wanted to see the Masters. Yeah, it came in at 21st at the Masters. So again, just was curious. Tough putting greens, and also it's Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. So just was kind of interested. I remember where he finished. Sam Burns. This is the first time Sam Burns has ever played at East Lake from a has he ever played it before, but in the Tour Championship, so he's new to that. But the guy's been playing amazing golf, and he is, as I told you guys before when I picked him to win. I believe it was Valspar. I picked him to win, and also was very excited about him at WGC St. Jude. I think he was kind of flying the radar, but you can see gaining almost a stroke against the field when he's on Bermuda. And he's been putting well on any surface. You can see that there. Driver's been, pretty decent. Approach is kind of, it's been positive. It's just, is he going to gain 3 or 4 strokes, or is he just going to barely, kind of break even? So it's going to come down with the approach game, but he is a good, ball striker, good long iron game. I like Burns. You can see also, and all the ownerships are going to be pretty high. There's going to have to be, it's going to be that your 6th man, 5th man in that's going to be the differentiator. But yeah, fan of Burns, and it's the kind of guy that I'm looking for. Morikawa, I think he's going to be. This is my thought on Morikawa. If you pick him and you have him in your DFS lineups, and he does do what Morikawa can do, I was kind of thinking he would do this at the BMW, and he did not. So I'm off on Morikawa. I think that the hurt back and whatever swing habits, I think he's still fighting through that. But again, we're not in these guys' heads. We're not their trainers. We don't know exactly everything that's going on. He had a 6th place here last year. The guy actually would fit my build. Now the putter is hit or miss. If we go look at Morikawa, though, he has had some pretty good showings on Bermuda, and I'm just going off at concession. So I keep doing this, but Memorial, that's been, I don't know why I always forget. But yeah, he gained. So this was, when I, the Genesis, lost 7 strokes. This was when he made the change to the claw. Then we came out the concession on Bermuda, gained 4, and then Memorial, that was bent. But the putter has been, you can see just trending the wrong way. So even if you say it's not a swing thing, it's a putter thing, but you can see, we'll just pretty much say he's losing tee to green. And that's so rare. It's pretty rare you see that guy struggling off the tee and with the irons. And it seemed like it started with the tee ball is where I noticed he wasn't hitting his natural fade. So anyways, all I'm saying is he could be a differentiator. Of course, I'll probably build quite a, I don't know how many lineups, but I'm going to plug him in here there because he's the guy that if he does bring Colin Morikawa A-, B+ game, he'll be a differentiator. All right, Victor Hovland. I put him just like Corey Connors. I think, they're very similar to me. They're gonna on 90% of the holes, they're gonna hit great tee balls. They're gonna hit pretty decent approaches. It's just what happens if they get, they have to chip or in the sand or putting. And with that said, and I'll pull up Victor for you. But I'm a huge Victor fan. And if he gets a hot putter, you can see he was running hot with the putter, back in May time frame. And then it's just been his last, I can't see the Open. I think if you gain 7.8 total, he must have did pretty well the putter, but everything else showing up here has been bad. But I mean, I guess it's trending in the right way. The putter is improving slightly since the Memorial. But just, the things that I'm looking for, and like I said, will I sprinkle them in here or there? Probably. But if I'm giving you my best 10 out of these 30, he's not making the cut. Koepka, like Xander, he's just been a bit of a funk, right? So since the Open, you could see a 54th, a 31st, a 22nd. Again, I guess trending in the right direction. He's had a T3 and a 6 here. He's also had a 26th and 18th. You can just see all red. Now, this is, again, out of 29 guys over the last 3 tournaments. So if I took a wider data sample, that those are all going to improve. But I'm focusing on the last 3 tournaments. That's me, and you can see everything is crap except what he's doing off the tee. I'll click on him too again, just so you can kind of get a better see. Bermuda is his best putting surface by a range, so you can make that as a positive, and you can see that's where he's very rare. And I love the way Brooks putts. What I mean by that is he's an aggressive putter. Same with Munoz, where if you watch those guys, they're not afraid to make the comebacker from 3 to 5 feet, and that I'm not a fan of the guy that dives the ball into the hole. Just too many things can happen. I like a guy that takes a firm stroke at the hole. That's me. And so, but Brooks has not been putting well. His last decent was the U.S. Open. Let me see. He also had a good showing at Concession, so that's Bermuda. But that's we're talking 6 months ago, over 6 months ago. So yeah. So with that said, again, if I'm only picking the best 10, he doesn't make it. Now Louis is actually, you can make some arguments, right? I mean, but I'm going that I like the way Louis kind of getting out of the rust. He had a good weekend at the BMW. Of course, the guy was just amazing elite. Then had that, a neck strain is my understanding. Again, you could say he just took some time off. I don't know. But I think his ownership, you can see, is a little bit less. It's a good price. He was leading the PGA for the longest time with the putter, the best putter on tour this year. Maybe that's fallen a little bit back. Let me click on him and let's go see. You can see, over his life, his career was never that great of a putter, but this single season, and I could just, if we just do this, excuse me, you'll see some of his best putting performances were this year. So the U.S. Open, at the Farmers, let's see, at Valspar, WGC Mexico, at Waste Management, at the Memorial. What I'm saying, and the guy's had a long career. Some of his best putting has been this year. All right, let's get off of that, and let's go back to like what is going on recently. So right, I mean, he was just on a tear here. Valspar an 8th, that's Bermuda. At the PGA, that's Bermuda. He had could have easily won that. The U.S. Open, gained 7 strokes with the putter. Now that's, a little off. I'd like to see, if he gains like 3 strokes and does what he does, he should have a really nice finish. Of course, he's also starting at 3 under. So, he's 7 strokes behind. So to actually win this thing, but can he end up, the guy that's in 2nd or 3rd? For sure. But you can see, the first he started to have a little, losing a little bit off the tee. The approach hasn't been, but the putter was really what affected him at the BMW. And he, if I broke it down by a round, I guarantee you that Saturday, Sunday, that putter was probably positive. I think he had a really bad Thursday, Friday. You know what? I don't know if I can do it by round. So, but anyways, for your own knowledge, I'm going with Louis. It's, if he plays the way he's played all year, I think he's got the rust off. Sungjae Im has actually been, trending in the right direction. He had an 11th here. I think he was actually, on Friday, he was in 2nd place here last year, and then kind of fell a little bit back. You also see high projected ownership, but I think everybody's probably seen what I see. Everything's firing on all cylinders. Also, I want to pull this up for you guys. So this is looking at putting stats for the last, I'm going to look at the last couple of years. And you can see Xander last year came in 2nd, gained 7 strokes. I don't know. Yeah. So M actually lost strokes that year. And then if I go to 2019, what I'm getting to is this was a little bit why I ended up on Mr. M. All right, we're going to click on putter. And he led, now, so funny enough, if you remember Schauffele in 2020, who ended up in 2nd, gained 7 strokes with the putter. Sungjae Im gained 7 strokes with his putter 2 years ago here. And the one thing that M needs is a good putter. And so if he gets that putter where he's, gaining, let's just say 4 or 5 strokes, he could be very viable. He's also starting at 3 under. like Louis. So again, everything I'm looking for in a player, except maybe again, the putter, but I see that he could definitely do well. Also, you could see Bermuda by far is his best putting surface, almost gaining a half stroke on the field when he's on Bermuda. You can see, he did well with the putter at the BMW. Kind of had some issues here, and actually at the St. Jude he lost, almost 5 strokes putting, but good to hear. But that, he's kind of streaky. You can see that with his putter. But I like Sanjay. Scotty Scheffler and Jason Kokrak, you can almost look at those guys very similar, right? Kokrak on a good news has been had a good showing at the BMW, and Scotty Scheffler, it's kind of fallen a little bit back, but both of them he's played here before, a 14th and a 5th. If we look at just look at Scotty, good off the tee, the putter's been where he's been struggling. And fairways gained, so that makes me a little nervous. I'll go click on Scotty for you. You can see he's going to be negative on all putting surface, but Bermuda is his best worst surface. And you can see the putter's been hurt. Now, funny enough, Scotty Scheffler can get a hot putter. You can see at the U.S. Open, almost gained 9 strokes. But it's for me, it was always like the 5-footers that made me nervous with him. I felt better if he was putting from 10 to 15 feet. I'm trying to see let's see where he's had some of his better putting outings. Waste management, that should be Bermuda. Yeah, TPC Scottsdale. RSM, I'm almost 100%. That's what, Sea Island, that's Bermuda. That's kind of, I looked at that actually as a comparable course. But the problem is a lot of these guys do not play the RSM, so it was not worth even kind of plugging in. All right, I was just kind of curious with that. So, I mean, again, if you're playing more than 10 lineups, both these guys I think are viable. I guess if you were going to pick between the two, if you're looking at projected ownership, and of course I'll go over tomorrow all the ownerships that are coming in, I would go with Kokrak. And because I kind of believe they are very similar on all facets. Let's go click on Kokrak just so you can take a little peeks. So again, you got to remember Jason Kokrak, like Louis, just had been putting in Fuego this year. So if you look over the life of the career, it's going to come up as that, showing he's not a good putter. But you can see here over his last 20 rounds, been gaining with the putter. You can see he gained 4 strokes at the BMW off the tee. That's a bit concerning. I would have not thought that was one of the major issues and approach. So, he kind of got in this bad funk here. Of course, he won the Charles Schwab. And that would be bent. And then kind of started, I thought he would have a good shot at the Rocket. He did not, especially out of that field. And again, you see it was a putter. But yeah, it's been off the tee. So I guess that's also probably why some of the weight is shifted on Scheffler. Let me just, one more thing. I just want to look again, just see what he did off the tee. So 0, it lost a little bit. Okay. Funny enough, though, oh, no. They're both fairways gain. I mean, he's, I guess, better ranked than him. All right, the next guy I'm actually, funny enough, and I don't pick, and this does not fall the narrative at all, that I want good putters. But big greens, fast greens, I know it was bent, Augusta. I always go back to that because it just shocked the world when he won there. He's also have had a 5th, a 4th. I like Hideki here. Also, I need a guy that can score. And I don't have, tee to green is not my issues. But if we look at, I'll tell you what kind of swayed me on Hideki. You can see a life of the career. I mean, he doesn't really gain except maybe a hair on Poa, but, it's not huge. But Bermuda is his worst surface. But funny enough, he putted pretty decently. I know he lost a stroke here, but at WGC St. Jude. Let me just click on some of his best. So the players, that's a long time ago, but he gained 6 strokes on Bermuda. That's Poa. Byron Nelson, I guess it would be I would guess that's Bermuda. I could click on, but I don't think it's really worth it. Tour Championship, he gained almost 6 strokes back in 2016. So that's a little positive note for me that he could do it again. Just kind of scrolling through if something else sticks out. All right, but I like Hideki. I think he's been playing well. And that price tag to get that, and he's coming in one under. He's starting, and I guess it was kind of like at this pricing range for me. Honestly, I was actually more kind of between Na and Matsuyama. And if you look at Na's career here is never it's really never did anything. And also this really shouldn't weigh in, but I can't stand playing Na. I'd rather play Massey. I'd rather play Corey Connors, but I think I'm not saying that I'm not picking Na because I'm not the biggest fan of him. I'm just telling you at that price tag, and I would rather. I know I'm getting a better tee to green, even around the green game out of Hideki. Well, let me take that back. Now around the green is better than Hideki. Everything else, getting to the green, Hideki's better. And Na has not been that great. I know his putter, we're going to go click on him now, has recently heated up. A life of career. He's positive on Bermuda. But you can see he's had, over this season, so let me start here at the tour, lost 3 strokes, lost 4 strokes, lost 2 strokes, lost 2 strokes. He's had some positives, lost 5 strokes. This has not been the greatest year. Now you can see, now we get to some of his courses he can play, like the Travelers, the John Deere, the putter heats up. He lost at St. Jude, even at the Wyndham. He gained 3 at the Northern Trust. So the last 2 events he's actually gained with the putter. I'm predicting that, I don't know, he can't do it all. You need to have a really good tee to green game also. So with that said, I'd rather take the risk that Matsuyama has a positive or at least neutral putting week and take his elite tee to green over than, Kevin Na having to chip it in and, make crazy putts. So that's how that fell. Corey Connors, what do you say? I think his one win at Valero was Bermuda, so you could pull that out. That's a while ago now. You can just see around the green, as I kind of mentioned, putting, and then the putting's just been a fiasco. Last time he gained 2 strokes at Memorial, but then couldn't hit a. It's so amazing how this happens, where you finally gain with the putter, and now you all of a sudden you cannot hit a green. So that's probably a little bit maybe, but even his chipping is not that good. So he had to make some long putts. But you can see typically he's gaining, elite tee to green, it's just around the green and putter. And when you get into big, fast, slopey greens, I don't trust that Corey can do what he needs to do with the putter. So I actually am going to go, and now that we're getting into like below 6,000, the guy that I've been a little bit off the last couple, which was good timing, where everybody else was kind of on him, but I am on him here. You just middle of the pack when he's played here before, a lot of 15th, 12th. But again, it's the kind of course that Daniel Berger can do well at, and it's Bermuda. And what's been hurting Mr. Berger is that he has not been putting well. But we're coming back on a good surface for him. You can see here, almost lost 10 strokes combined over the last 2 tournaments. You can see here he's gained. But if we click on, let's see what his last best putting performance. So both of these is Bermuda, is where he's putted the best in his career or gained the most strokes. The Players, another one. That would be RBC Heritage. Just click on that. Yeah, that's Bermuda. I thought it was. Okay, so long story short, I'm banking on that Daniel Berger is going to get the putter back. He's, right now the field on approach, he's ranked number 1. It's good with the par 3s, fairways gain, off the tee. Yeah, I'm gonna in my mind say that's a little bit due to this, but this is the thing that should not be. That is not typical. And again, this is the last 3 tournaments. So you saw he lost like 4 strokes, 5 strokes. I'm looking for that turnaround. It is Bermuda. I'm all over Daniel Berger. I think I don't think I bet him yet. I'm going to have to look at his odds, but I think I would. Let me see. Where's he starting? So he's starting even. So without strokes, I'm guessing it's like 20-1. And I need to talk to you guys about that, about what I discussed yesterday, because I had to change something I said. Okay. Kind of moving down the board. I'm going to kind of start to breeze through some of these guys a little faster. I think Joaquin Neiman's a pretty good play. I'll just say that. Um, it's all, again, going to come down to putter. Joaquin Neiman, also, these guys are all, well, he actually starts at 1 under. You can see over his life that Bermuda is slightly a positive surface. Been struggling with the putter recently. Last good showing, though, was on Bermuda. I think he's a sneaky, and I'm not picking him, but I will definitely be playing him. Garcia, again, elite tee to green. So just put him right there with the Corey Connors. Throw him in there with Hideki. You put him with Scheffler. Like, if he putts, he's going to be very live. It's been a while since he's been here. And, all his putting surfaces are going to be negative. So, but you can see why he popped up. He actually gained with the putter, but then he, lost severe strokes the last couple. So, he's kind of hit or miss, and I would believe it's a miss. So I would probably punt on Garcia. I would almost rather take Stewart Cink really than Garcia. But he's been kind of, falling a little bit back. And what's kind of crazy in that now, I don't remember exactly, but I don't know if his son was on the bag. But it really seems like since his son has not been caddying for him, maybe I think his other son is caddy for him. I don't know. It was just correlation where all of a sudden his game started to kind of fall off. So he's maybe going to have to talk to his son again. But anyways, Stewie Cink, great year for him. 2 wins, making it to the Tour Championship. Unreal, to be honest. He did RBC Heritage. That is Bermuda. Is his best putting surface. He had a good putting showing. Gained crazy at the Northern Trust. That was bent for him. I had no idea. I actually don't even remember looking at that he gained that many strokes putting. That's kind of nuts. His last PGA was at Kiowa. He gained 4 strokes. So yeah, a couple Bermuda tracks that he has done well at. So somebody you could think of. The guy that I'm falling on, and you can see like this is probably, I think he's the differentiator, Billy Horschel. He hasn't been playing that good at golf, but you can, of course, he's won here before. He's had a second. I'm not really going on that. You know what really is kind of pushing me to Billy? Let's go click on him. Is that guy putts on Bermuda really freaking well. Whenever he's on a Bermuda track, watch out. And so his win this year, which is not going to show up here, I'm not sure why, but the WGC Dell match play, it's been a while. I think that happened back, in like March timeframe. That's Bermuda Greens. It's a par 71. I'll throw that out there for you. His putter has been kind of, hit or miss too. It was the last, so he gained 5 strokes at Kiowa. He gained 5 strokes. Again, that both of these are also, this is kind of on Bermuda at concession for the WGC Mexico. Now, again, a while ago. He hits his long irons. He's really good on those long par 3s. I remember that very well from what he did at the Dell match play. Again, it's a while ago. But I like him here. That's the simplest I can put it. I mean, so you can see, some of the recent stroke gain over the last couple, maybe not the greatest, but, I think he could shock the world. I'm not going to say he's going to win this, not by any stretch of the imagination. But is he the differentiator at the bottom? I think a lot of people are going to go to EVR. I'm going to pivot and go to Billy Ho. It's a great Cinderella story. I mentioned this yesterday. From almost losing, pretty much your card to, winning the Barracuda, which that would be POA, just so you know. I don't think it's even listed on here, but I looked it up just to confirm. But you can see Bermuda's his worst putting surface, and this is why I'm out on EVR. This is rare for him to gain these kind of strokes with the putter. He's also, gained a ton on approach. Now, I don't think he could get very hot, but this has kind of been like running at a pace that EVR has not ran at, and I couldn't even tell you how long. So I'm going to pivot. That's simply what it is. We got 30 guys to pick from. My play is going to be Billy Ho and hope for the differentiation from a DFS perspective. That's it. I think that's enough. I think you guys got a really good understanding of the way that you want to go. You know the way I'm leaning. And let's go and summarize this for you guys. So again, to summarize my top 10 picks out of 30 for a DFS perspective. Also, I staggered these guys so you can make teams out of them. I didn't, take all the guys at the top. Of course, that would make no sense. If you're going to take a guy at the top, the best guy I see there is John Rahm from all perspectives, even though, he is not getting the 10 under starting, but he's got 6 under, 4 strokes over 4 days. That's nothing for him to not to do. I like Cam Smith. He's starting at 5 under. And, if Cam does what he can do, just like what he did at WGC at the TPC Southland, and he's been playing great. He's had a pretty good showing here in the past. So I like Cam. Abraham Answer, again, of course, he won WGC TP Southland. The Bermuda Greens, he's got to hit fairways. He's been just elite with everything I want. I like Abraham. Harris English, it could be a little bit of a dark horse, but, local guy. Also been playing really well and a good putter on Bermuda. Of course, Bermuda Burns, elite tee to green, and typically he shows up on Bermuda. Louis, this was probably for me one of my not edgy, worrisome picks, if I had to put it that way. The guy, had that little bit of break due to neck injury, whatever it was. I think he's got the rust off. I think we're going to see his form again. He needs that putter that he's had all year. If he does that, the guy could end up, definitely top 5, maybe even runner up in this thing. Sanjay M, again, it's going to come down to his putter, but he's been playing really good golf and does typically putt well on Bermuda. Again, elite tee to green for Matsuyama. It's going to be, does he have the putter or not? He's probably my, if you think, you could literally go from Corey Connors, Victor Hovland, Matsuyama, Garcia. Those are all the guys that are really good tee to green. I think Matsuyama's a really good around the green, and he just showed, recently he can handle the putter at times. So let's hope for that. Berger, we need the putter to come back. You've had 2 bad rounds with it. If he does what he can do on Bermuda with the putter, I think it's, he's going to be up there. And last but not least, probably my differentiation pick. But I see things that are telling me that Billy Ho could do really well here. And I need some differentiation when I build my DFS lineups. He's going to be my last guy in, probably on a lot of teams. And either it's going to work out or it's not. But that's my top 10 for you guys. And then I wanted to put this up here. I mentioned on my early favorite bets that the betting side was not considering the starting strokes. And that's how everything I saw and I understood it. And I actually put bets in yesterday, not even paying attention. And over here would be winner. But that's with strokes. And then they have a without starting strokes. What that does is it, kind of kills the odds a bit. But, I want to bet guys that I think can win this tournament because it's so skewed with the strokes. So I just want to tell you, if you're on DraftKings, I don't know if this is for every site. I would guess it's not, but maybe this is how they're doing it now. But from a betting side, just make sure that you understand it on DraftKings Sportsbook. If you are betting and on where it says winner, then that is considering where they're starting with the staggered strokes. And I did not know that. Everything I was seeing and understood that the whole betting side was just not even looking at the strokes gained. So I wanted to clarify that. That's my bad. And like I said, it might be a DraftKings thing only, but that's all that I bet on. So just keep an eye out for that. That's all I'm saying. Make sure when you're putting your bets in, if there's an area, just check, is it without starting strokes or with starting strokes? Oh, and there you go. Just to highlight that point. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks so much. Hope this helps. And of course, as always, it means a great deal to me. Click that like button. Again, anybody else that that's in the DFS golf world, share with them. See if they might get some value out of it. If you've not subscribed, of course, subscribe. I've got the giveaway. I'm going to announce that tomorrow. Tell me who you think is going to win this whole thing and subscribe, and you will be in the contest to win $1,000. Don't forget PrizePicks. Put in Golf Guru. Check it out, man. Some of you guys already did. Thank you for that. Like I said, this is helping to give back to the community. I'm going to give whatever I get from this back, as I mentioned, into the Masters pool that I'm going to be doing. And then if I can help you, as always, hit me up on YouTube comments if you have between here or there. But I think with the 30 guys and everything I just covered, you kind of know where I'm going to lie. But hey, if anything I can help you with, let me know. And also hit me up on Twitter at DFS Golf Guru. I'll be back tomorrow to go over ownership projections. On my Before the Lock show, I'll give you Well, I'm probably not going to give you my top value plays because we already know who that is, but I might talk about maybe a couple guys that I'm for sure going to fade after I see ownership projection. We'll talk weather real quick. I'm going to announce the winner. Oh, and I guess probably the best thing that'll probably come out of my show tomorrow would be who am I picking for prize pick, right? I'm 100% back-to-back weekends, so let's hope we can keep that going. But maybe they're starting to get a little wise to the scoring, but we'll see. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have a great day.